Hello, I'm Jordan Zanitas, and my business is My Car Concierge. Before I get into the value proposition canvas, let me tell you where my idea came from, because that's the reason I'm building it. I've been a rideshare driver for Uber and Lyft for over a decade, more than 2,000 rides at this point. About 5 years ago, I had a conversation with a passenger about the inconveniences of auto maintenance, not the repairs themselves, the experience of dealing with a provider. The feeling of walking in already expecting to get taken advantage of, handing over your keys, and having no way to know whether the person behind the counter is being honest with you. I heard some version of that conversation over and over. After a while, it stopped sounding like a complaint and started sounding like a problem we're solving. And so, My Car Concierge is a two sided marketplace. On one side, vehicle owners post the work they need done. On the other side, background check providers compete for that work. The whole thing is built around one promise, and I'll come back to it in a few times today. The price you approve is the price you pay from people you can actually trust. One thing I want to make clear up front because it shapes everything else, it is free for owners. They never pay a subscription and never pay a fee to post a job. All of the revenue comes from the provider side. Providers buy credits to bid on the jobs they want. So when I talk about willingness to pay later on, I'm talking about providers, not owners. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I'll walk you through my value proposition canvas, how I validated it, how confident I am in each piece and why, how my thinking changed once I started talking to real people, and where I still have real risk. A quick word on process. Because I did not just sit in a room and guess, I ran validation cycles using mob test style interviews. That means I asked people about what they had actually done in the past, not what they think they would do, and I did not pitch them. After each round, I mapped out what was still risky. I put the reactions in a heat map so I could see which sentences and which features people responded to and which ones fell flat. And then I made a call, keep going or pivot. Across three cycles, that is 13 interviews, mostly vehicle owners, plus two providers near the end, so I could finally hear both sides of the marketplace instead of just the demand side. Here is the core of it on one side: the problem, the audience, and the solution. The problem is not really that car repair is expensive, it's that the customer is flying blind and they know it. Three things can go wrong at the same time. They can't tell whether the shop is honest or any good before they've already committed. The pricing is opaque. They get one number, they agree to it, and the final bill somehow comes out higher. And the whole process is a hassle on top of that. But underneath all of it, the real problem is emotional. People feel powerless, and they walk in expecting to lose. That feeling is what I'm actually trying to fix. My niche is everyday vehicle owners, roughly from their late 20s to about 60, who own out of warranty cars and don't have a mechanic they trust. The important thing about this person is that they have no money. They have money, but not a lot of time. They care more about certainty and not getting burned than they do about finding the absolute lowest price. The solution is a marketplace of background check providers where the price you prove is the price you pay, free to owners, with providers paying to bid. The one line that has tested strongest in every cycle, without exception, is that one. The price you prove is the price you pay. Let me walk you through the discovery work that got me here, starting with cycle 2. In cycle 2, I talked to 5 people from my warm network: Janet, Wendy, Lewis, Rob, and Nick, all vehicle owners with out of warranty cars and no go to mechanic or other provider. The ones who fit shared a clear pattern. They distrust shops, they've been burned by a surprise bill at some point, and they want a fair vetted option but don't know where to find one. The interesting person was Nick. Nick did not fit at all. He is a satisfied dealer loyalist. He has his routine, and he basically rejected the whole premise. At first, that felt like a miss, but it turned out to be useful. Nick became my anti persona. He showed me clearly who this is for and not for, and knowing who you're not for is almost as valuable as knowing who you are for. I tested three different angles with that group. Concept A was background checked providers leading with trust. Concept B was honest pricing with real time updates leading with transparency. And concept C was a verified mechanic who comes to your door leading with convenience. The headline result was that the background check sentence was the strongest thing on the whole board. People responded that more than anything else. Anything that sounded like a monthly membership fee fell flat. Nobody wanted another subscription, and one moment in particular mattered. Wendy's reaction to the pricing concept drove a brand new feature. She talked about hating being left in the dark while her car sits in the back at the provider, so I built in real time communication. You always know what stage your car is at and what's happening to it in real time. You can see all of that on the heat map. Background check providers and honest real time pricing both ran hot. Mobile service was mixed. Some people loved it, others did not care because they did not mind dropping off the car. The monthly membership ran cold. The big takeaway from this cycle was that trust is the gate. It's not one feature competing with others. It has to clear first before anyone will even engage with the price. And on willingness to pay, it tracked with pain level. The higher paying owners were comfortable with a $25 to $50 convenience premium, while the lower paying people were not. Cycle 3 is where it got pretty interesting because it's the first time I had both sides of the market in the room. On the owner side, I talked to Miguel and John. I'll be honest, that is 2 out of planned 5. This audience is generally hard to reach, and I would rather tell you that straight than pretend otherwise. So, to make the cycle count, I also interviewed two providers: Paul, who runs the service operation at a dealership, and Chris, who owns an independent body shop. That gave me something I never had before. I could hear the demand side and the supply side back to back. The concept evolved for this cycle. Concept A was a trust plus certainty, background checked and approved equals pay. Concept B was competing bids with escrow protected payment, aimed at the comparison shopper. Concept C was a mobile and real time, aimed at the high paying user who just wants it handled. What came out was a clean two persona split and is probably my single biggest insight. John is a comparison shopper. He lit up at the idea of competing bids and escrow, and at one point he described the whole thing back to me as a bidding platform without me ever using that word. Miguel was just the opposite. Miguel told me a story about a $1,200 oil change, and that point is that he does not comparison shop at all. He is high paying and short on time. He did not care about bids. He wanted somebody trustworthy to come to him and keep him updated. Same product, two completely different reasons to want it. The heat map confirmed the pattern. The price you approve is the price you pay was again the most validated line. The strongest signal across all three cycles. Trust ran hot and free to the owner ran hot. The bids and escrow concept and the mobile and real time concept were each strong, but for different people, which is the segmentation showing up in the data. The provider side was the new piece. Paul told me, without me prompting him, that pay per bid felt fair, and he offered her for even other shops, which is exactly the supply side behavior I need. Chris, on the other hand, was more cautious. He raised a race to the bottom worry that bidding might undercut his existing customer loyal relationships. Two different shop types, two different reactions. Coming out of all this, my decision was clear: iterate, not pivot. So here is the value proposition I have the most confidence in. We help owners with no trusted mechanic solve the fear of being overcharged with vetted providers, and the price you approve is the price you pay, free to owners. Let me rate each piece out of 10 and tell you why. Customer, I put out an 8 out of 10. The audience is reachable and the pain is real and widespread. 13 interviews across 3 cycles, warm and cold outreach both worked, and it keeps showing up among out of warranty owners. Problem, I put out a 9 out of 10. That is my highest, and I do not say that lightly. This validated in every single cycle. People already research, they already dread the quote, and they already have a story about getting burned. There is a strong emotional charge there, and emotional charge is exactly what you want to see. It means the problem is real and it hurts. Solution, I put out a 7 out of 10. Approve equals pay tested strongest, and trust is the clear differentiator. So I am confident in the value itself. I held it at a 7 instead of higher because I still have to prove the supply side, that I can recruit enough vetted providers, and that they will actually buy bid credits at scale. That's the part of the model I have not fully nailed down quite yet. My second value proposition is the bidding angle. We help comparison shopping owners solve overpaying for service with competing bids from vetted providers and escrow protected payment. Customer, here I rate a 6 out of 10 because it is narrower. John fit it perfectly, but Miguel, my highest paying user, did not comparison shop at all. So this version does not reach everyone. Problem, I put at a 7 out of 10. Overpaying is real and validated, but for a lot of people, the bigger driver is trust, not price comparison. And solution, a 6 out of 10. Bidding tests well with the shoppers, but it carries that race to the bottom that Chris flagged, which could actually scare off the quality shops that I most want on this platform. Now, the honest part. The assumptions I'm still not sure of, ranked by uncertainty times importance. First, that owners will actually trust the vetted marketplace more than whatever they do today. I would test that with a landing page and a waitlist signup to see if the message lands and people commit. Second, and this is the big one, I put it at an 80, that providers will buy bid credits to compete for jobs. This is the revenue model. So if that's wrong, nothing else really matters. The good news is that it is already partly de risked. Paul told me pay per bid is fair. So the next step is a founding provider offer pushed out to about 10 shops to see if it holds. Third, that I can reliably reach 5 or more target owners every cycle. I'll be honest that I have struggled with that. So I would attack it with more outreach and by testing the rideshare driver segment, which I understand well and which has acute high mileage pain. So the big question, do I need to pivot? My answer is no. I have cleared the hurdle. I can reach real owners and providers, and the core value proposition keeps validating cycle after cycle. So the call is to iterate, not restart. In practice, that means leading universally on trust and transparent pricing, using competing bids versus mobile as segment specific hooks for my two personas, John versus Miguel, and continuing to build the supply side by turning Paul's referral offer into actual providers on the platform. One last honest thing, and it's a little uncomfortable. I've actually put these in front of people. These are real ads I have run for my car concierge. You can see the different bets. One leads with price and bidding, one is aimed at recruiting providers, and one is the emergency angle, and one is the dream car feature. But look at where the creativity actually leads. It still leads with bidding and price, stop overpaying, getting competing bids, and everything I just told you about my discovery says that this is my secondary hook, not my headline. So there's a real gap right now between what I have learned and what my marketing is saying. Closing that gap, rebuilding the creative to lead with the price you approve is the price you pay, and with trust is one of my most immediate next steps. To pull it all together, the business is my car concierge. The customer is everyday vehicle owners with no trusted providers. It is free to them, and we make our money on provider bid credits. The value proposition is that we help those owners avoid being overcharged with background check providers where the price they prove is the price they pay. My original bidding first assumption gave way to certainty first and trust first. And the biggest thing I learned is that both sides of the marketplace want the same thing certainty, not a price war. Thanks for watching. The recording link is on this final slide.